Anthropic just dropped something that could, and I mean really could, completely change how we think about automation. It's called Claude Routines, and honestly, it feels like a massive step toward turning AI into a true autonomous workforce. All right, let's get into it. I want you to just picture this for a second. What if, instead of spending hours, clicking and dragging and connecting all those little nodes in some complicated app, what if you could just tell an AI what you need done in plain English? That's the huge shift we're talking about here. Okay, so what is this thing really? What's under the hood? Let's break down what routines are and how they actually work. The easiest way to think about it is this. It's an engine that lets Claude run entire processes all by itself. You just write out a set of instructions, literally like you're writing a standard operating procedure for a new employee, and Claude just follows them whenever it gets a signal to go. No hand-holding required. So what kicks these routines into gear? Well, there are three main ways. First up, a simple schedule. Scan my inbox every day at 5:10 a.m. before you're even awake. Second, a webhook. That's just a fancy word for a signal from another app, like, hey, a sales call just ended, time to start the follow-up. And finally, a direct API call, which is basically another program saying, go now. Now, to really understand why this is such a big deal, we got to take a quick look back at how we used to do this stuff. It was powerful, sure, but man, it was a headache. You remember the old way, right? With tools like n8n or Make, it was all about these super complicated visual builders. You're dragging nodes around, connecting them with these digital wires, manually mapping every single piece of data. It was such a chore. The new way? You just write. What used to take hours of technical fiddling now takes like a few minutes. And if you want to change it, you just edit a sentence. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. That was the real pain point, right? All that setup, getting the credentials right, making sure the data was mapped perfectly, that was the real work. It was tedious and it was a huge barrier for a lot of people. So routines basically takes that entire old model and just flips it upside down. It totally replaces that complex, click-heavy mess with a simple conversation. So the workflow is just so clean now. An event happens, Claude reads your instructions in plain English and gets to work. And then, boom, it sends the finished product wherever you need it to go. That whole messy, complicated middle part, it's just gone. All right, enough theory. What does this stuff actually look like when you use it? Let's check out some seriously powerful, real-world examples. I mean, you can build a routine that acts as your personal executive assistant, going through your emails in the morning and drafting replies before you even have your first coffee. Or, get this, you finish a sales call and bam, instantly, there's a perfectly written proposal generated from the call transcript just sitting in your drafts. You can even take your old, clunky automations and convert them into these simple text-based routines in seconds. And what's so wild about this is that it's not some generic canned response. The routine actually read the email, it understood the context, that it was a podcast invitation, and it drafted a perfectly natural, human-sounding reply. That's a huge leap forward. 3 hours. That's how long it used to take to build a good proposal generator with the old tools. At least 3 hours of clicking and mapping and troubleshooting and pulling your hair out. And now, with routines, 2 minutes. 2. That's the absolutely massive leap we're talking about here. From a multi-hour technical project to just writing a few lines of instructions. This isn't just an improvement, it is a total game changer. And this, right here, brings us to the bigger picture. Because this isn't just about making old tasks a little bit faster. This is about enabling something fundamentally new. We're moving beyond simple automation. Just connecting app A to app B. We are moving into what people are calling true agentic execution. We're giving AI the keys to the car, letting it handle entire sequences of complex knowledge work from start to finish with zero human intervention. And you can chain these things together into a full system. Imagine, a sales call ends, which triggers a routine to send a follow-up. The proposal gets signed, and that webhook kicks off another routine that starts the entire client onboarding process. Welcome emails, scheduling calls, sending resources, the whole shebang. You could automate almost every single non-human touchpoint in your business. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. We're getting to a point where the bottleneck isn't the technology anymore. It's not technical skill, it's just imagination. When you can build pretty much any business process just by describing it clearly, the only question left is, what are you going to build?